What's up guys, Ryan here from MudGunner, and today it is our 10th episode of our viewer build series where I post your builds every single Friday. Each week is a new theme, and this week's theme was bullpup guns. So I didn't get as many as I'd like this week, but that's okay. Next week we're going to make it a lot more open. So next week's theme is going to be Gucci guns, and by that I mean kind of expensive guns, whatever you want. So it's going to be open to whatever gun, but I'm thinking $3,000+ guns. Like setup wise, you don't have to spend $3,000 on just the gun, but let's say your setup is $3,000 or more, which honestly in the gun industry it's very easy to do. That's going to be next week's theme. So hopefully that makes it a little bit more open and we get a lot more builds submitted. So yeah, but this week's theme was bullpup guns. I didn't get as many as I wanted, but we do have a couple good ones here. So thank you guys for everyone that submitted, and I look forward to next week's video. Also, if you guys are looking to support the channel, I did just put up new Brass Goblin shirts on my website. And if you order a Brass Goblin shirt, which is this design right here, you will get one of these stickers for free in your order. So yeah, check out my website. I have every size from small to 2 extra large. I was supposed to get 3XL shirts, they just didn't come in. So I have every size from small to 2XL, and you will get one of these stickers for free. So yep, with that being said, let's get into this week's build video. Alright guys, like always, we are going to go in the order that I received your submissions in. So this first submission for this week's viewer build video is from DJ, and this is his Steyr Aug. So going from tip to butt, he's got a Yankee Hill phantom muzzle device that's quick detach for his Yankee Hill Turbo T2 suppressor. We can't see it from this picture because there's a light in the way, but it is set up for his Turbo T2 suppressor. And then he is running a Manicore cantilever rail, which I didn't even know this was a thing for the AUG, so that's pretty cool. So if you notice, it's got, it looks like an M-LOK handguard from this picture, but then he's got room to put Picatinny rails on there, and it sits taller so that he can put his optics up there, and it's probably more like M4 like profile or AR profile height. I don't know the exact height, but yeah, you'll notice his rail sits up higher off the gun, and I assume that's going to help with his optics. So again, that was a Manicore cantilever rail, and that's actually pretty cool. If I get an AUG, I'll have to look into those. He's running a Streamlight ProTac HLX light with the switch taped to the grip. So that's the factory vertical AUG grip underneath it, and then it's got the pressure pad taped to it. And what's cool about those grips is they also fold forward. So it's just a quick design on that. Another cool thing about the AUG is the barrel is quick detach, and I assume it's still quick detach at this rail, but I don't for sure know. But basically there's a switch on the side, and the barrel detaches with the vertical grip attached to it. So that's pretty cool as well. And then he's got a suppressor gas plug from V1 Tactical. I don't exactly know where that would be. That was probably underneath the rail. He's running Magpul MBUS Pro flip-up sights. So those are steel iron sights. They're my favorite iron sights to go to. He's running an EOTech EXPS 2-0. And he is running a Vortex 3X magnifier behind it. And then he's got a Ratworks 2020 trigger sear, which I have not heard of that. So AUG triggers are not the greatest. I assume that lines up the trigger. He's running a Magpul MS1 sling. And then this one does take factory AUG mags. Steyr also makes an AUG that takes AR mags, which is nice, or standard Stanag mags. So that's cool as well. But yeah, thank you for sharing, DJ. I really like the AUG setup. So next up, we have John here with his Tavor X95, and that one's looking pretty nice as well. Let me get into his picture here. So he's got a Yankee Hill Turbo K suppressor on there. He's running a reared-in flash hider. He's got a mod light. He didn't mention the model, and I can't see it from here. And I am not good at identifying them off the top of my head. So he's running a mod light, which is a very nice light. And then he put Unity also. Where's the Unity? He just put Unity. I assume he's talking about the Unity button. So yeah, it looks like there's a Unity button. I think they call it the hot button for that mod light. And then it's also ran in what looks to be a Surefire tail cap. He's got a B&T hand stop on there. This one is an SBR conversion kit, so it's a 13-inch barrel, which I've always loved the 13-inch barrel Tavor, so I really want to do one of those as well. He's got a Geisley trigger pack and lightning bow trigger. So with Geisley on the Tavor, you buy the trigger pack and you buy the trigger, and they're separate. It's one of the most expensive like Geisley trigger upgrades to do to a gun because it's 2 pieces. He's got an EOTech on there. I assume it's an EOTech EXPS 2.0. He didn't say, but it looks like it's definitely an EXPS, which is the quick detach lever. It's not a 3 because it doesn't have a night vision button on there, so I assume it's a 2.0 or a 2-2. He's running an Ed Sherman sling on there. And then he said it was originally FDE, but it didn't match his living environment, so he Cerakoted it to Sniper Gray. I was actually curious about the color. It kind of looks like an OD green color, but I couldn't really tell from the pictures. But yeah, that's pretty sick, so thank you for sharing that one. And then he has a picture here next to his unfinished Tavor 7. So the Tavor 7 is a 308. It's also made by IWI. And then on that one, he's running a Yankee Hill resonator suppressor on a Yankee Hill flash hider. And then he's got a BCM hand stop. He's running an EOTech and a magnifier, and they're both on Unity risers, and then a T-Rex arm sling. So yeah, very nice setups. I like the Tavors a lot. I currently have an X95, but that's the only Tavor I have. But the 308 one's sick too. So thank you for sharing those, John. I really like them. So next up, we have another Tavor, and this comes from Ed from AZ Cactus Tack. And this one's looking pretty sick too. It's also an X95. So let me go through his build list here. He's got an OEM flash hider that he's looking to replace with the Huxworks 556 flash hider if they ever get back in stock. That is true. They're very back ordered right now. And then he wants to run the Flow 556K can through it. And yeah, that makes sense because he says there's no adjustable settings on the X95s. And then he's got a Black Label M-Lock handguard rail, replaced the OEM handguard for the additional M-Lock capacity and flexibility. That looks pretty sick. I feel like I've seen Tavors that look like this in movies where they kind of look like Tavor SDs, but I'm digging that a lot. And he said that is from Black Label, which it's BLK LBL. And yeah, I'll have to look into that because that looks pretty nice. And then he's got extra pick rail on there, so 4-slot Black Label pick rail section added onto the top of the handguard to extend the overall pick rail length. It looks pretty good on there. He's running a Sentry strap, which is a magnetic locking tab for holding the sling. He's running a IWI Savvy Sniper Sling adjustable quick detach. So it's an IWI branded sling, but I think Savvy Sniper is the brand that actually makes it for them. I've seen those, but I've just never used one. He's running a HoloSun AEMS red dot on there in the FDE, and that's the Optics Planet Edition one. That you normally can tell that because it'll say OpMod on the side. And then he's got a Geisley Super Sabre trigger pack, which is unseen. He says the OEM trigger is not bad, actually, for Bullpups, but just installing this trigger pack really improves the performance, and I agree. I have the trigger pack in mine. I don't have the trigger. I own the trigger, I just haven't put it in yet because I know it's a process. But yeah, I agree. The trigger pack makes a big difference in itself. And then he's got a Manicore Arms gasketed port cover, which is helpful with the gas mitigation on the Tavor because apparently they bleed out. He says the X95 is ambi in terms of its use of ejection ports, which can change the configuration. Since I wasn't using the left side ejection port, I installed the gasket cover to better control gas outflow. This alone improved the shooting experience 80%. So I don't have that on mine, and I haven't really noticed much gas bleed off, but I also haven't shot mine suppressed in a while. And then he's running a UTG pick rail cover. Says the other place where the gas escapes is at the very end of the pick rail towards the shooter. IWI suggested using one of their rubber pull tabs they send with the carrying case. It fits perfectly under the pick rail. However, when drilling with the rifle, the recoil knocked it loose and it actually fell into my ejection port and caused a jam. What are the odds? That's true. And then I just placed an extra pick rail cover I had on top of that section, and it actually worked out really well. So that's smart. I've used rail sections, like little rail adapters or mounts to prevent gas from escaping. And then he's got the Manicore Arms curved butt pad on there, and I've heard good things about those. And he said he'll add a light at some point. He's just trying to learn the manual of arms. It's a bit different mode of operation reloading as the magwell sits pretty far back from an AR-style rifle. And yeah, that's true. If you're going to get one of these and want to get good with it, it does require a little bit of training, but it's not too bad, and I think most people pick it up pretty easily. But yeah, overall, that's an awesome build. It'll look sick once you have it suppressed on there as well. And yeah, I mean, just light-wise, I'm running a Surefire on mine right now, and I like it. But yeah, thank you for sharing, Ed, and go check out his channel, AZ Cactus Tack. So next up, we actually have a build from my coworker. He wanted to partake in this week because he has a really awesome FS2000 here. So this is from my buddy Alan, and this is his FN FS2000, and it is specifically a Gen 1, which if you guys know FS2000s, that's a pretty desirable gun, and I'm not going to go into all the differences about it, but the main thing is the trigger pack on those. But he's got an FS2000 here, and he is running a Judo Chop charging handle upgrade, which the factory charging handle is plastic, so this basically makes it metal. I have one on mine, and it's definitely a noticeable difference. He's got a Blue Force Gear multicam sling. His optic is a Leopold Mark IV CQT. It's a 1 to 3 power LPVO. This is an old school Leopold. They don't make them anymore, and they're awesome. He's running a BCM foregrip on there. a Surefire Mini Scout Light, and then he's running a Gunslinger Tactical rear sling mount, and then it's an unknown muzzle device, which I can't see it from this angle of the picture, but yeah, that looks very nice. He also spray paints all his guns in his own unique way. He's a big fan of the ATAC pattern, I think is what it is. But yeah, that looks awesome. I haven't got to shoot this one, but I have two FS2000s and he has this one, and he's offered to let me use this one for a video. So this winter I might do a video comparing all three FS2000s because they're all set up differently. So let me know if you guys want to see that. But yeah, thank you again for sharing, Alan, and I've always looked up to your FS2000. So these next couple were submitted from Instagram because I reached out and asked people to send them from Instagram because we didn't get enough sent to my email. So I got some good ones for you guys. So first up, we got to show this one. What we have here is a Gary with an AUG, and this is really going to just kind of be for my friends because this is from Arizona Range Day earlier this year, or Zona. That normally takes place in January. And this was sent to us from Joe, and he's like, here's Gary with an AUG. Gary is our friend, so Gary, if you ever see this, this wasn't me, this was Joe. But yeah, what we have here is a mini Gary in his natural habitat of AZ Range Day, and he's carrying an OD Green AUG. I can't really tell what the optic is, but he looks very ready to take on this stage. And I mean, he's a little nervous, but I think in the end he comes out on top. So yeah, that's Gary with an AUG. A little bit of humor for you guys. And again, don't kill me, Gary, that was Joe. He sent me that. All right, now that we have the Gary gun taken care of, this next one comes from Chris. He's another friend of mine, and he didn't give me much to go off of here. So it is a Desert Tech MDRX. He says it has the MDRX upgrades, which I've never shot one of these, so I don't know what that means. But he is running a CGS Hyperion suppressor. He's got a Unity riser and a Trigicon SRS, which I'm very jealous that he has that. I really need that. The SRS is discontinued, in case you're wondering, and they're hard to find. And then he's got a random QD sling mount. Thanks, Chris. That is all I have to go off of here. So, yeah, the Desert Tech MDRX, they seem nice. We actually have one of these at our Gilbert store right now. But again, I've never shot one. I don't know much about them. The trigger feels decent. Just playing with it at the shop. Charging handle feels decent. To me, personally, I'm kind of a fan of my X95 Tavor. But I need to go shoot one of these and try it out. But, yeah, thank you for sharing, Chris. And he says he wants to do a Battle of the Bullpups video with me. So we'll probably do that sometime once it cools down. And then we have two more guns. These both come from one person. This is from Gabe. And thank you for reaching out for this because these are awesome. We're going to start off with his AUG here. So he has an AUG A3 NATO conversion with the adjustable suppressor gas plug. He is running a Huxworks Flow 556K suppressor on there. He's got a Streamlight ProTac HLX light. And then he's running a Trigicon TR25 AccuPoint 1:6x24. So that is a very nice AUG setup. And yeah, I dig that. So thank you for sharing that one. And then his next one is also OD Green, and this is kind of a rare bird. This is an FS2000 as well. I don't know what generation. But yeah, he says, for my fish gun, I didn't really do much to it. I just added an EOTech 512. So yeah, I mean, there's not much to do to an FS2000. They do make a tri-rail for them, and if you do that, there's a little bit more you can do, like add a vertical grip, add a light. It'll make it easier to sling, but I mean, if you're just running the bare gun, all they have is a pick rail on top. But either way, I mean, that's a beautiful gun. I love the OD Green, and they look awesome with an EOTech. So again, that's an EOTech 512, but other than that, it is a stock gun. And then Gabe also has a YouTube channel, so if you guys don't mind checking his out, it's Pythons VS1 or Pythons Versus 1. I don't know how you would pronounce it, but yeah. Thank you for sharing, Gabe. And yeah, thank you to everyone else that shared. These were all great submissions. Thank you again to everyone that submitted. Those were all great guns, and they were awesome to look at. So hopefully you guys got some inspiration. If you're running a bullpup gun, I know I did. And we're going to talk about next week's theme again. So next week's theme, the actual theme, is going to be called Gucci guns, and that just means expensive guns. And I know there are a lot of people that spend a lot of money on guns like myself, so I'm thinking like 3,000 plus. I mean, if you spent $10,000+ on a gun, go ahead and send it. It doesn't matter what it is. I know a lot of like the viewers end up submitting ARs, so if we get a lot of ARs, that's fine. But ideally, no like cheaper builds. Like I know there's a lot of people that buy like Anderson, Palmetto, stuff like that, and I'm not against those brands. It's just for this video specifically, if you guys want to see cool guns on the channel, I'm really hoping we get some nice high-end guns. Like I've never seen anyone submit a Knight's Armament yet. I don't think we get like LMT or LWRC, stuff like that. Just like higher end guns would be pretty cool to see. And it doesn't have to be an AR. If you did another bullpup that wasn't in this week's video, that's fine. Just anything you could think of. So Gucci guns, and then ideally send a really good high quality picture of it horizontal, because that's going to show best on YouTube. And yeah, you could do front and back, and then just describe it from tip to butt, because it makes it flow a lot better in video. So you can send those pictures to sales@atroxco.com, and then ideally when you're describing it, just like kind of in like a line, just, you know, what you did. I don't mind a little bit of context, but I have gotten a few where it's a couple pages of, you know, description, and it's kind of harder to sort through for a video. It's not that I don't appreciate all the thought out response, I don't want to waste your guys' time and not be able to read through 2 pages of what you did to the gun. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you again to everyone that submitted, and I look forward to all those builds.